There it is, everything chopped up and mixed together. I will not be adding the lime until right before I serve it. For now, I just let all the flavors infuse together, and right before I serve it, I add the salt to taste. Today, I cut really thick chunks of meat, of roast. I add a few garlic teeth, cilantro, the potatoes, some celery chunks, and I basically keep the stock from this recipe, the meat and the potatoes. Everything else I pick out, and I save the beef stock for my rices or other foods. The meat, I serve it on a plate. We shred it and eat it like tacos with the potatoes on the side. Heated up the pan, added some olive oil and 2 tablespoons of butter. Threw all the cut up vegetables in here. Decided to add red bell peppers as well. Once the vegetables are nice and cooked, I'm going to add soy sauce and this rosemary garlic seasoning. And that is it. Once the vegetables are halfway cooked, you're gonna notice the colors changing. They get a little deeper. I'm gonna add the spices. Had already added a little bit. And then you're gonna add the soy sauce. So you can finish cooking it with everything together and the flavors infused together. It is stir fry done. I leave my vegetables a little bit crispy, a little bit crunchy. And you want to leave them that way in case you have to reheat them before you eat. They don't get overcooked. There it is. They are done. Now, banana bread recipe. 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 2/3 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoonful of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 cup of shortening. I do 1 stick of butter in the place of the shortening, 1 cup of mashed bananas, 2 eggs slightly beaten. I will be doubling the recipe so I can make 2 separate loaves. Once you've mixed the dry ingredients lightly, you start adding the eggs and the butter. You don't have to melt the butter. It asks for you to whisk the ingredients and leave the batter a little bit with coarse, to where it resembles coarse crumbs. So what I do is we just use the whisk and crush the egg yolks. Once you get this somewhat mixed in, then we're gonna add the bananas and do the same thing. Once your mix with the eggs and flour is somewhat combined, you add the crushed bananas. I use very ripe bananas for this recipe. You want this mix to stay a bit clumpy, so I do use this, but every now and then I have to clean it out. Ideally, you can use a pastry blender or 2 knives. I do it this way because it gives me the consistency that I like. Every now and then I'll use a spatula just to get that flour that stays on the bottom. Go ahead and you butter the pans that you're going to use, and oven will be preheated at 350 degrees. You bake for 55 minutes to 1 hour. Once you have crushed the almonds, just sprinkle them lightly on the top. I donut salt to this recipe as it calls for, so I use lightly salted almonds. Banana bread is ready. They were done in 40 minutes. Once you can insert a toothpick in the batter and the toothpick comes out clean, it is done. I used these tin foil pans, and they're not very deep, so it cooked very fast. Let the bread cool off for about 10 minutes, and I cover mine right away so they don't lose any moisture.